So before we get into the student-athlete component of our conversation, I want to begin with what is kind of bringing people to this interview, and that is your life-saving action that took place back in May, talking about, of course, donating one of your kidneys to a friend of yours. And for those that haven't read the write-up by our sports information director, Mark Robertson, I would certainly recommend that you do so. But today we're going to let Ellen tell the story. And so first things first, obviously we know you saw the Facebook post. And then from there, fill us in, where did the motivation come from that you really wanted to take the next step and get tested and see how you could help?
Yeah, so I saw the Facebook post, and first I didn't really think there's much I could do about it, but then I kind of went back to it, and when I realized we had the same blood type, I kind of just felt like I needed to do something, and that if I didn't at least get tested and, things went really bad for him, then I would feel bad. So I filled out the health assessment form that you have to send in, and then they were in the process of sending me all the stuff to go to a local LabCorp to get tested, but then we were sent home for the coronavirus. And so then I just went to the hospital instead, which actually made it a lot easier on everyone and was able to kind of expedite the process because it doesn't have to be sent back and forth everywhere. And then once I found out I was a match, I don't know, at that point, it's really hard to say no. Like, obviously there's no pressure or anything, but I don't know, just felt like everything was falling into place so perfectly that it was just the right thing to do.
Now, we should say as well that this wasn't totally random. Brandon, you've worked with him before. Give a little bit of background on that relationship, that friendship that you have with him.
Yeah, so Brendan and I, we grew up swimming on a local summer swim team together. Just grew up at the pool. He moved here maybe when I was in 5th or 6th grade. And ever since then, I would never say we were best friends, but we were always in the same group, always just hanging out at the pool. His family was always at the pool. And then I started lifeguarding and coaching for that swim team. And so we were always around each other. And the Cedarwood community is just one where, I don't know, you just help each other out.
Now, I'm curious if you knew about his condition before this latest Facebook post by his mom. Did you know anything beforehand?
No, I didn't know anything. Most people actually didn't because, he just looks like a normal, healthy guy. But so I guess they didn't really want to put anything out there until they needed to. And so when I guess they found out he needed a transplant, then they made it more public.
So when it comes to the word surgery, most people kind of get uncomfortable in that aspect, but yours is a little bit different because you're directly helping someone. Did that make it easier as far as nerves that day, or was it still the fact that someone's about to cut me open that really maybe got those nerves going?
It was definitely a very surreal feeling, laying in the pre-op area and knowing that I was probably the healthiest I'd ever been in my life, the best shape I'd ever been in. And in a few hours, I'd be laying in a bed pretty miserable and a bunch of pain. So that was definitely a strange feeling, but I just knew something I needed to do. And then I wouldn't really say I was nervous about it, but it was definitely interesting because of COVID. My parents couldn't be there. So I knew I'd kind of be waking up in the hospital room alone, but I don't know. I guess just thinking about how much it would be helping him just kind of got me through it.
So what's been the life after that donation, that surgery been like? What do you do? Obviously it's been a while to this point, so you've recovered pretty well. But what's the next step once you're done with the surgery and you get out of the hospital? Then what happens?
Yeah, so it's pretty miserable for about a week. I didn't feel good at all. But they just encouraged me to try and get up and just walk around, and that the more I walked, the better I would feel. I know the first time I walked down the street and back, I needed a 2-hour nap after. I was pretty exhausted just from that. So that was a little bit discouraging right off the bat. But after that first week, I really started feeling a lot better and just kind of picked up how much I was walking and how long I would walk. And about 3 weeks out, they told me I could start running, and I don't know, ever since then I'm definitely out of shape, but I've been feeling a lot better. So
Now, are those like typical symptoms of people who give kidney donations? Are those things that you experienced, the normal things that happen after that?
yeah, they told me ahead of time that I would definitely feel very fatigued right after, and really it could go for a few months still. They said up to 6 months I could just kind of have days where I'm not feeling all there. But they also said that since I'm so young and healthy that I would probably bounce back a lot quicker. So that's why I was able to start running and so sort of getting back into things a lot quicker than probably most people do.
It's a big nod to Coach Smith and Coach Johnson
Yes.
for helping with that part of it.
For
Before
sure.
we move on to other questions about tennis and school, the last thing I want to ask you in relation to that process is what you've learned personally. People are about to find out, if they don't already, that you're already a pretty driven person, and especially when it comes to balancing many things. But specifically to this event, what's a big takeaway for you?
I think it just shows how strong our bodies can be and how much we really can help others. And I think it's really important to take the time that you can to help those people and just have faith that in the end it's all going to work out. And I think since then, I don't know, I've just, sounds kind of cliche, but I just sort of have a different perspective on everything, just a lot happier.